Hello everyone. So today in this video lecture, we are going to discuss about a very simplified block diagram of a television transmitter. We know that in television we have two types of the information, audio information and the video information. That whatever the picture is there, it is converted into a video signal. As well as whatever the sound information is there, it is also converted into a audio signal. That this conversion of the audio and the video signal is performed by the transmitter. So here, look at this simplified block diagram of a television transmitter. That first of all, if you see, we have a camera tube. Now, already you know what is the function of the camera tube. That when the picture or any object is focused on a camera tube, then the camera tube is converting this picture information into a video signal. So, that output of this camera tube is given to the video amplifier. But before it can be given to the video amplifier, the camera tube requires a number of the pulses. Here, whatever the camera tube is there, it has to perform the scanning. Means it has to read the picture, and for that you require a horizontal scanning and the vertical scanning. So this horizontal and the vertical scanning frequency is generated by a synchronizing generator. This synchronizing generator generating number of the pulses, number of the waveforms are generated here. So here if you look at this, that what is a synchronizing generator? It is generating a horizontal scanning frequency, then the vertical scanning frequency, horizontal and the vertical scanning frequency, they are of a kind of a sweep current. This sweep current is applied to a deflection coil of a camera tube so that the electron beam can move from left to right as well as from top to bottom. Then it is also generating a blinking pulse. That is a horizontal also and vertical also. This horizontal and the vertical blinking pulse is applied to the grid of the camera tube. So, during that time period, electron beam will be cut out. There will not be information collected by the camera tube. And then, the synchronizing generator is also generating a sync pulses. It is also horizontal and vertical sync pulse. So, the number of the pulses is generated by the synchronizing generator. So, there are number of the oscillators are there, multivibrators are there, clipping circuits are there. So this synchronizing generator consists of a oscillator circuit, multivibrator circuit, blocking oscillator will be there, and the clipping circuit will be also there. So it is going to be generate all these kind of a different pulses. These pulses are given to the camera tube. Then this camera tube is going to generate a video information like this. Here, whatever the maximum level is there, it is corresponding to a white level, and the minimum level is there, it is corresponding to a black level. Then it is given to a video amplifier, because whatever the signal generated by the camera tube, it will be a very weak, and for the transmission we require the powerful signal. So here the video amplifier is here there, and with the video amplifier, that horizontal sync and the vertical sync, these two pulses are going to be added with the video information. So it will generate a complete a composite video signal. So here if you see the output of the video amplifier, at this point you will get a composite video signal. Now in composite video signal, there will be some DC component, and this DC component will be removed by a video restorer. So the DC component will be removed, and then the signal is given to the video power amplifier. So here the signal should be very powerful, then only it can go to a certain level, certain distance. So the power amplifier is very important. So here this video power amplifier is giving a video signal to the modulator circuit. You can say it is a nothing but it is one modulating signal. It is a modulating signal. Now for the modulation we require one more signal which is called a carrier wave, and the carrier wave will be of a very high frequency. So here the video information is a amplitude modulated. So this high frequency of the carrier is generated by the crystal oscillator. The crystal oscillator is there, and it is very highly stable oscillator, and that's why the crystal oscillators are used for the transmission. So frequency is not going to be drift with the time. So that is the main characteristics of the crystal oscillator. Here then it is given to a class C amplifier. So class C amplifier, basically when the transistor operates in a class C amplifier, it is generating a number of the harmonics. So whatever the carrier frequency you want, accordingly you have to generate the harmonic, and that harmonic will work as my carrier signal. So here the crystal oscillator is generating a one particular frequency of a sine wave. Let us say it is of a 500 megahertz. But for the transmission, we require a 100 megahertz or 200 megahertz. So harmonics of this we can utilize for the transmission. So it is given to the harmonic generator, then whatever the carrier frequency you want, accordingly this carrier frequency will be generated by the harmonic generator. So here we have this carrier frequency, here also we have this carrier frequency. Now this carrier frequency and this modulating signal is going to be modulated in a grid modulator, and it is generating a amplitude modulated wave. So here we have amplitude modulated wave. Then it is going to be amplified by a linear amplifier, because we require a very high amount of the power for the large distance transmission. So the linear amplifier is here. Now if you look at this waveform at this point, then this waveform is like this. This is my amplitude modulated wave. Remember. So this amplitude modulated wave is going to be appear here. Then amplified by the linear amplifier. Now here we have a vestigial sideband filter. Now already you know that when the signal is going to be modulated, then the bandwidth is going to be a 2fn. In our case, the video signal is of a 5 megahertz, so this bandwidth will be of a 10 megahertz. Bandwidth of the modulated wave will be of a 10 megahertz. But we know that this 10 megahertz bandwidth is very large, and that bandwidth we can reduce if we use the VSBSC signal. Means if you use a vestigial sideband filter. So what is a vestigial type transmission? That in vestigial type transmission, the one of the sideband is completely transmitted and the some portion of a other sideband is transmitted. Here in this case, the upper sideband is completely transmitted, but the some portion of the lower sideband is transmitted. So we can reduce this bandwidth from 10 megahertz to a 7 megahertz. So here we have a vestigial sideband filter. Vestigial sideband filter that will filter out some portion of the lower sideband. It will cut out the some portion of a lower sideband and it will allow a upper sideband complete, because we know that the information is on the upper sideband as well as the lower sideband, and that's why to reduce this bandwidth we have to use a vestigial sideband filter. And then here it is given to a kind of a device, kind of a circuit which is known as a deflection. Now in a studio, when this video signal is generated, then if you want to watch the program or you want to edit something, then here there will be a kind of a studio monitor is there where you can see the program and accordingly you can take the decision. Now other information in the television, and that is the sound information. So first of all, whatever the sound is there, this sound is there, it is converted into an electrical signal through a microphone. So here we have this kind of a electrical signal which is known as a audio signal. Then it is going to be amplified by the audio amplifier, because the output of the microphone will be very weak, it will be a few millivolt only. So we require the amplification, and the number of the stages will be there for amplifying this audio signal. So after this amplification, it is given to the FM modulator. Now here you should remember that the sound information is a frequency modulated. Video information is amplitude modulated. Now here whatever the FM modulator is there, it is also require a carrier wave for the modulation. This carrier wave you can derive from this crystal oscillator, or you can derive from this harmonic generator. So this harmonic generator will provide the carrier wave. Here you should remember that will provide the sound carrier wave. And what is important? Important is that the sound carrier wave is always higher than the picture carrier wave. So if this picture carrier wave, remember, here if it is a 174 megahertz, then the sound carrier wave will be added by 5.5 megahertz. Remember, so the sound carrier will be a 179.5 megahertz will be there. So here the difference between the picture carrier wave and the sound carrier wave will be of a 5.5 megahertz. That is, you know. Correct? So after this frequency modulation, then the signal is ready for the transmission, and here it is given to a kind of a device which is known as a deflection. Now, what is a deflection? Deflection is nothing but it is a kind of a bridge arrangement, and it is a balanced bridge. The one of the input to this deflection is my picture information, video signal is there. Another input is a sound information is there. And for the transmission of both the signal, we have a common antenna, that is a transmitting antenna. So the deflection unit is designed in such a way that it is going to be balanced in such a way that the picture carrier frequency and the sound carrier frequency, there will not be any kind of a interference. Why we require the deflection? Because we have a common antenna, but the two information has to be transmitted, so there should not be any kind of a interference between both the carrier wave. So the deflection unit is there, which is nothing but it is a balance bridge circuit. So then here it is given to through a coaxial cable. It is given to the transmitting antenna, and transmitting antenna is transmitting your information in the form of a electromagnetic waves. So in this way, this is a very simple block diagram of a television transmitter. The actual it is a very complicated, but for the understanding, these are the important block of a television transmitter. Now in the next video lecture, we will discuss about a simplified block diagram of a television receiver.